Now at 5:30, a possible later back-to-school start date for next year for students and teachers at Fayette County Public Schools. More on the school board's meeting ahead.
Also on WKYT this morning, a man accused of shooting his cousin over the weekend in Lexington will be going before a Fayette County judge today. We'll have details of the investigation into those circumstances coming up.
And a church congregation has found a way to replace messages of hate with words of love. That story and today's forecast ahead on WKYT this morning.
This is WKYT This Morning.
Good morning. Welcome in. It's so good to have you with us on WKYT on this Monday. I'm Bill Bryant.
It is a beautiful start to the week, and I am Andrea Walker. This is a nice change. We've been dealing with just weeks and weeks of rain almost every day. Micah, what do you know? We're excited.
Yeah, I think a lot of people are excited. I mean, we're sitting there with lower humidity. You felt it yesterday afternoon as that front passed on by. It took the rain along with it and left us with mostly sunny skies, low humidity. You start to feel that wind change too, and that's helping us out big time. It's 58 right now in London. Things look good across 75 and 64. I've heard of no issues whatsoever as you're walking out the door. 79 by the afternoon. Some will be in the lower 80s, so upper 70s, lower 80s. Low humidity, mostly sunny skies. I think everybody's okay with that for at least today, because once we head off toward the next few days, we'll start to see those temperatures rise, and that typically leads to humidity, which typically leads to a rain chance. And we do have a rain chance in the forecast, but this full week, 7-day forecast, you'll absolutely love it. I'll show you that coming up in about 10 minutes.
Well, this is about as good as it gets.
Good news ahead. I love it.
All right, thank you.
Now, here's a good question.
Yeah.
Do you wish there had been another week to summer vacation?
I say a lot of students do,
So.
maybe the teachers do, maybe parents do. Well, tonight, the Fayette County Public School Board is going to be meeting. They'll talk about pushing the school start date back a week for next school year. A lot of schools build in snow days. Let's go to WKYT's Hillary Thornton live with what's expected in that discussion tonight. Good morning, Hillary.
Good morning, Bill and Andrea. It is a change that the district's pupil personnel says a majority of staff members surveyed are in favor of. The matter expected to be voted on by the school board here later today at their monthly meeting. The change would push back the start date for the school year by about 1 week. The proposal presented last week, putting students in the classroom for their first day of school on August 16th next year, compared to this year's first day of August 10th. The director of People Personnel surveying 30 staff members, receiving completed surveys from 22, with more than 60% of those in favor of this change. Now, another change announced by the district last week, naming Lester Diaz the principal of Fayette County's newest high school, set to open next year. The decision of whether or not he will finish this school year as the principal at Bryan Station Middle School is also expected to be voted on later today. For now, live in Lexington, Hillary Thornton, back to you.
All right, it's an interesting discussion and a lot to consider, really. You know,
yeah,
with
it's a talker.
Exactly. Well, new on WKYT this morning, deputies broke up a party of about 300 people in Whitley County.
They say they received tips of underage drinking. WKYT's Mike Fire is live with more on the bust. Mike?
That's right, guys. Whitley County Sheriff's deputies made several arrests over the weekend after they busted an underage drinking party with nearly 300 people on hand. Deputies say they received tips about the party being held at a farm located off Cripple Creek Road in Whitley County Saturday night. Deputies say when they arrived, they located a crowd of nearly 300 people. They said many of them were underage, drunk, and were from multiple counties. Officers made 3 arrests as a result. 51-year-old Douglas Jones was arrested for counts of unlawful transaction with a minor and for being drunk in a public place. Deputies arrested 19-year-old Dustin White for being drunk in public as well, and deputies also arrested 22-year-old Tyler Jones for resisting arrest and being drunk in public. Now, deputies didn't find any drugs at the party. They say those allowed to leave had to pass field sobriety tests as well as breath tests. Sounds like it was quite the party, Bill and Andrea. Back to you.
It sure sounds like it was. It has been weeks since a man's daughter died near a cabin in Wolfe County. Since then, state police have charged 3 people with murder. The latest of those charges came this weekend. State police arrested 31-year-old Carla Hunt in Bath County. She and 2 others are accused of killing Brandy Davidson and Devin Payton. Davidson's father says now his 3-year-old granddaughter Chloe is left without a mother.
Chloe had seen on the news yesterday. She was laying in my lap, and I thought she was asleep. She said, "There's Mama." Man, it hurt so bad. I mean, to hear her say, you know, my mama had been killed.
Hunt is in the Three Forks jail in Lee County. Today, a man accused of shooting his cousin will go before a Fayette County judge. Police say they arrested Anthony Beard Jr. yesterday after he shot his cousin inside a home on Jackson Street. Police say the suspect, Beard, busted into the house with a handgun, got into an argument with his cousin. They say Beard then shot his cousin once in both legs and twice in one arm. Police say a bullet also grazed his cousin's stomach. Neighbors told us they watched Beard run away after the shooting. He is now charged with assault and burglary. His cousin went to the hospital with non-life-threatening injuries.
Our time is 5:36 on WKYT this morning. Donations for flood victims in Louisiana have been pouring into that state, and a group here in Kentucky from Harrison County wants to make sure that everyone is getting help, including animals. Helping Hounds Find Homes in Cynthiana is collecting supplies for animals who lost their shelters in the floodwaters. The group has already sent down a truckload of supplies to the Lamar Dixon Expo Center, where more than 1,000 animals are being cared for right now. And this Wednesday, the group is planning to take another truckload of supplies down. Starting today, Cynthiana farm equipment supplier Southern States will be collecting donations for the big trip.
We have farmers that are feeling the need to respond because Cynthiana was in the flood of 1997 and we were devastated, and this is our way to give back for all of the people that helped us 20 years ago.
Now, we have a list of what you can do to help out in that effort at WKYT.com. A Knox County woman is asking for your help with flood cleanup efforts. Laura Rose grew up in East Baton Rouge Parish. She says her loved ones there have been asking her for help. She is collecting supplies to help them with cleanup and is asking the community for donations too. She says she is grateful to live in such a generous area.
I mean, I might be from Baton Rouge, and that's my hometown, but this week I've definitely learned I wouldn't want to live anywhere else.
Laura is sending the supplies with her husband and father. They will be leaving for Baton Rouge today.
University of Kentucky police have arrested a man who they say was trying to sell stolen textbooks. They say Anthony Shields broke into offices at UK's campus and stole textbooks. They suspect he's also connected to thefts at Morehead State, EKU, and WKU. Police say they caught Shields when he tried to sell a stolen Western Kentucky University textbook at a UK bookstore. Shields did not have any affiliation with the University of Kentucky.
One of the things that we found out also is he's actually sold some of the books in different states. As far as Birmingham, Alabama. So we're tracking all this down. It's continuing to unfold as we go.
When officers arrested Shields, they found a tire iron in his car. They suspect he used it to break into the College of Nursing offices. Shields is now charged with third-degree burglary and possession of burglary tools. Turning now to national news, thousands of students are headed back to school in Miami-Dade County this morning, where officials are dealing with a new cluster of the Zika virus.
A lot of concerns there. At least 5 people in Miami Beach have apparently become infected with the virus through local mosquitoes, bringing the total number of infections in that area to 36. Brian Webb has the latest.
So you want the repellent? Yeah. Okay.
Health officials in Miami-Dade County distributed mosquito repellent over the weekend to parents sending their kids to school today in the newest Zika zone.
Make sure you apply the repellent before coming to school. It should be able to last you the whole day.
The superintendent of schools helped hand out protective uniforms consisting of long sleeves and pants.
Better safe than sorry. I know on the way to school may be a little bit uncomfortable. Once in school, it's going to be comfortable.
The back-to-school push comes just days after authorities identified 5 new cases of the virus in Miami Beach, apparently spread by local mosquitoes. The area is just across from the original Zika zone in the Wynwood Arts District. Federal health officials now say other states in the Gulf Coast may be at risk.
I would not be surprised if we see cases in Texas and Louisiana, particularly now where you have the situation with flooding in Louisiana.
Zika has been linked to devastating birth effects in pregnant women. The CDC is advising women who plan to get pregnant, expectant mothers, and their partners to postpone travel to the 2 Florida areas at the center of the outbreak. Brian Webb for CBS News.
And officials with the National Institutes of Health say Zika could hang around the U.S. for a year or two. The NIH has already begun testing out a vaccine. The Cincinnati Zoo's gorilla Harambe has taken on a life after death on social media. The gorilla was shot and killed back in May after a 3-year-old boy got into his enclosure. Fans of Harambe have written petitions to rename the Cincinnati Bengals, to add his face to Mount Rushmore, or to put him on the dollar bill. He's even been nominated for president.
Interesting stuff there. Anyone with tickets to Movie Tavern yesterday is asked to call theater management today. This sign was up outside the movie theater in Brannon Crossing yesterday, saying they were closed due to conditions beyond their control. Our calls to the theater were not returned. A church congregation has found a way to replace messages of hate with words of love.
Saturday morning, somebody spray-painted graffiti on the front doors and the sidewalk of St. Michael's Episcopal Church in Lexington. Parishioners cleaned up the mess, and Rector Laurie Brock talked about what happened during the service on Sunday.
When people send out into the world hate and violence, our responsibility is to respond with love. Teenage boys are not the only ones who can graffiti things.
Brock invited the entire congregation outside after the service, and using sidewalk chalk, they wrote their own messages of love. All right, a good way to get through that situation there. 5:41 our time, and it's time to check live drive traffic this morning and see what is going on. Andrea has already learned that this is a good time to travel.
It really is. There was just nobody on the road, and I loved it.
Here's a current look at the travel in the region. I-75, I-64 moving fine. No reports of any trouble. Those coming across the Clays Ferry Bridge from Madison into Fayette should be a nice ride in this morning. And here's the Lexington Fayette Urban County Government live drive cam at Limestone and Short Street. And just like you said.
Looking good there.
It is. No delays reported right now. School buses, of course, on the road shortly, and Officer Don will be in as well. And there's a lot more news coming up for you Monday morning on WKYT.
A 9-year-old boy from Louisiana spent his birthday giving back to flood victims. Find out how his idea spread after the break.
And it's a really nice feel once again today. That fall-like feel is in the forecast today. Now, tomorrow off into the next few days, we'll start to see those temperatures rise. So you better enjoy it while it lasts. I'll have that coming up next.
Now, your hour-by-hour forecast with meteorologist Micah Harris.
Looking across the region on these Kentucky cams, I see no problem. 7564 BG Parkway, Mountain Parkway. I'm not hearing of any issues whatsoever. Hal Rogers Parkway down south along with the Cumberland region looks pretty good. 27 127, all as well as you head through Frankfort, Lexington, down toward London and Jackson. I see no problems whatsoever, and clear skies too. And that makes it feel really nice outside. Now check this out, okay? Winds coming in from the north still and pumping in some not cooler but also drier air. Now we're at 57 degrees for your dew point. Your dew point's the measure of moisture in the air. And what that tells you is, boy, humidity's way down. Typically this time of year you're in the mid to upper 60s for dew points. And we're nowhere near that. It has been a nice change of pace. So as you're walking out the door, if you're taking your kids out to the bus stop, pushing them out the front door, it is a crisp start. But let me tell you this, some of us are a little bit chilly this morning as you're walking out the door. If you get cold pretty easily, yeah, you're going to feel it this morning. Nice start there by 7 a.m. So 6 to 7 a.m., 7 to 8 a.m., I see no issues. Kids will be just fine heading out to the bus stop with no worries from mom and dad as they head out the door. Now the muggy meter, here's the breakdown of it. Today's fantastic, a lot of pleasant air. You'll love it. Everybody will love this weather. Heading off toward Tuesday, it's still pretty pleasant. Now temperatures will jump up to the mid-80s there on Tuesday, but humidity is down, and that is always the key. I always say this. That is the key during the summer months, is humidity being down. That's what you want. Then we head toward Wednesday. It bumps up pretty well. I mean, we're talking mid to upper 60s, some 70-degree dew points in the forecast, which will make it feel very sticky once again. So today and tomorrow, you better enjoy it while it lasts, because you know it doesn't last too long. That's going to be on Wednesday into Thursday, and look what happens Wednesday into Thursday. We have that chance of rain in the forecast at about 40% there on Thursday. I would lean toward Thursday being our best chance of rain as opposed to Friday. Friday's only a small chance. Most of us look good there for high school football. I'm not seeing any issues as of right now. And Saturday and Sunday, that front just kind of washes out. It doesn't really bring us really anything. It just kind of keeps temperatures basically where they're supposed to be this time of year, which is in the mid-80s. So all in all, guys, there's no washout. There's no flooding concerns, no severe weather threat as of right now. It's a pretty good forecast. No problems. We'll take it. No shoes, no shirt, no problems, right? So everything looks pretty good this morning on 7 Day.
5 o'clock somewhere, right?
Somewhere, yeah.
It sure is.
There you go.
Sounds good. Okay, thank you very much, Micah. 5:48 is our time on WKYT this morning. The National Weather Service spent part of the weekend getting a good look at storm damage down in Barron County.
They say an EF0 tornado touched down Saturday night just south of Glasgow. The storm tore part of a roof off a barn and knocked over some trees. Thankfully, no one was hurt. As Louisiana begins to pick up the pieces after last week's devastating floods, we've heard many stories of communities coming together to help each other out.
Really inspiring stories. One young boy decided to celebrate his 9th birthday by giving to others instead of having a party for himself. Carson Booty spent his special day delivering pizza to those who were busy restoring their lives. And his idea led to 363 pizzas being delivered. Carson's dad says they were shocked by the help they received from the community.
We thought it was just going to be our internal family, and whenever it got out through Facebook, it looked like the love wanted to be spread all over the area.
Carson says he did it so that families would not have to stop what they were doing to prepare their lunches. Well, Carson, way to go.
That is an impressive young man. Very nice.
Yeah, getting something going at a young age, and I bet he will remember his 9th birthday because of that.
I'm sure he will. The time now is 5:49. Coming up, you'll get a look at some of the news making headlines across our area.
We will, and we'll also check traffic again. We have some health news for you. Our top stories are on the way, and it's so good to have you with us Monday morning on WKYT. Hey, good morning. Welcome back in WKYT this morning. We're live from Lexington at 5:53, and it's your Monday.
I know. It's a nice start to the work week.
It is.
Let's take a look at some of the stories we're working on at this hour.
The Fayette County Public School Board will be meeting tonight. They're going to talk about pushing the school start date back a week for next school year. This year, school started on August 10th. They're trying to build in some snow days, but under this new proposal, school would start on August 16th. A vote is expected tonight at the school board's monthly meeting.
Today, a man accused of shooting his cousin will go before a Fayette County judge. Police say they arrested Anthony Beard Jr. yesterday after he shot his cousin inside a home on Jackson Street. Beard is now charged with assault and burglary. His cousin went to the hospital with non-life-threatening injuries.
Deputies broke up a big party. About 300 people were there over the weekend in Whitley County. Deputies say they received tips about the party being held at a farm located off Cripple Creek Road Saturday night. They say many of the people at the party were underage and intoxicated, and they were from multiple counties. 3 people were arrested there.
Moving now to national news, President Obama is back in Washington following a 16-day family vacation on Martha's Vineyard.
The president has come under fire from some Republicans for not cutting his trip short to tour the flood-ravaged Louisiana. He will be traveling to the state tomorrow to see the devastation firsthand. The Summer Olympics in Rio have come to a close. 4-time gold medalist Simone Biles carried the American flag during last night's closing ceremonies. Team USA earned 121 medals, 46 of them gold, the most of any nation. The next Summer Games are set for Tokyo in 2020.
We did really well this year.
We sure did. Go Team USA.
And now making today's headlines, teenagers whose parents encourage them to eat healthy and be physically active are less likely to have an eating disorder or engage in unhealthy diet behaviors. That's according to the American Academy of Pediatrics, which recommends parents discourage teens from dieting, skipping meals, or using diet pills.
Another AAP study shows drivers under the influence of alcohol are less likely to properly buckle up passengers who are children. Researchers also found drunk drivers more often drive with children in the front instead of the recommended back seats.
And if you hate your job in your late 20s and 30s, it's going to affect your health in your 40s. Ohio researchers tracked over 6,000 people and found those who are unhappy earlier in their careers report being more depressed, worried, and having trouble sleeping later in life.
All right, so find what you love early.
That's right. Obviously,
right?
Good for your health.
You got it.
Let's get a check this hour on today's traffic trouble spots with live drive traffic.
We'll see what's going on. Here's the current travel times as we see. From Nicholsville, it's about a 15-minute ride into downtown Lexington. From Paris, about a 19-minute ride. Richmond's a half hour this morning. So things are looking good out there. No reports of any troubles. Here's the Lexington Fayette Urban County government look at Limestone and Short.
I know everything's looking clear there. A good time to be out on the roadways, but you know that's going to pick up here in just a little bit.
Yeah, very shortly it starts to get busy. So you've already figured it out.
Yes.
That's the good part here. Is
That's right.
this early commute in. We never have any issues. Let's check in with Micah this morning and see what's going on for today's beautiful weather.
Yeah, it's really nice today. I mean, it's one of those times that you saw yesterday. That rain pushed on out. The sky started clear. Humidity started to really shrink. So things are looking pretty good. And that's going to continue for today. 58 now in the London-Corbin area. Really nice start to the morning. As you're walking out the door here in the next few minutes, I see no problems whatsoever. Really, in the next several hours, I see absolutely no problems. If you're planning to have lunch with friends today, coworkers, sit on the patio. You'll absolutely love it. Feels fantastic later on this afternoon at upper 70s to lower 80s. So today's really nice. Humidity's down, but that's going to change in the upcoming days. If you're about to take off, have a great Monday. If not, stick with us because we have another hour of WKYT News.